It's your old friends at Monday Madness, and welcome to another episode of the Jellyfield Donut Podcast.
Hey.
Yeah, got it right this time.
Right
Fuck you
time.
too. Yeah,
First
well done.
day.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Anyway, we're here as ever. Myself, Jonathan, James, and Burkbot joining me just like last time. Thank you for listening to the last few episodes on the Low Blows Network and on wherever else you get to your lovely podcasts. So we've had we've had a good run of episodes so far, lads. Right? We've had the Metapod battle. We've had the battle at Pewter City. Now we've got Mt.Moon to go to next time, and Clefairies, Moonstones, scientists, the whole shebang. Zubats everywhere. We get introduced to the magic that is Zubat, and unfortunately, that magic will never leave us alone now, because it is its nature. So yes, we get cracking then. So our opening titles. The episode is called Clefairy and the Moonstone, by the way, in case you're wondering what this episode will be about. It will be about those two things, the Clefairy and the Moonstone.
You might not know what a Clefairy is just yet, so that might be intriguing.
Indeed, yeah. I think that was the hook, like, that got you interested. And there is very much a story behind Clefairy, which we'll get to later. So, we get a recap of the last episode, including the gym battle, Badge and Brock joining. The narrator teases the next adventure that is out of this world. I'm just gonna let this play out. I was gonna try and get a loop and just have that playing through the entire episode, and then watch all of our listeners go completely mad. Yeah. We get our title screen then. So Ash and company are hiking towards Mt.Moon. Missy thinks it sounds romantic. Yeah. Because nothing sounds more romantic than a mountain called Moon. Brock apparently knows all about it. He says a meteor crashed into it during prehistoric times, and it's called the Moonstone. Okay. Which is, isn't that just very interesting? So we get a shriek that's
definitely like he went there on a school tour.
Yeah, or like on a date.
Like, yeah, and he's just like, oh yeah, I know all about it. Like, definitely. And then recites every billboard that's there.
He is the rock gym leader.
Yeah,
he should know
yeah.
about the local sites, like, in fairness.
It's just outside of town. Yeah,
precisely. Like, if he didn't know that, there's actually, like, what's wrong with you, like, really? But then again, maybe because he's looking after the kids so much, he didn't have a chance to even explore
Or maybe
Mt.Moon.
all the school trips that he had to,
sign off on. Yeah, that's a good point too. And then, like, all the kids going like, we learned about this, really? Good, keep telling me all about it for the ninth time. So, we hear a shriek off screen that sounds oddly like a meowth. And they run towards whatever the noise was, where a swarm of Zubats appear. Zubats are a very common Pokemon that we will unfortunately not hear the end of for the end of time. So they seem to be attacking a man in a white coat, which is the correct thing to do to scientists. They're fair game. You can attack if you do see one in a white coat. You are free to attack them. It's certified. So Zubats,
they are villains in the games.
They more or less are, aren't they? Like you never seem to get good scientists in anything.
No, they side with Team Rocket.
Yeah.
Okay, Rocket provides some funding.
Yes.
They're gonna go with them. The government clearly aren't helping them out. Rocket comes in, private investor. Yeah. Yes, I will, fund your R&D centre.
Scientists can be very amoral creatures. Like they just want to get their research done. You know, and it doesn't matter who's funding them. So yes, apparently we hear that Zubats like living in caves because apparently they're bats by nature. But these ones are attacking outside. This is very unusual. So Ash thundershocks Zubats and they fly back inside. The man is hurt, but is extremely grateful, almost too grateful, because he starts gushing over a 10-year-old child, and gets zapped for his trouble, because he tries to hug Ash, but Pikachu's squeezing between them, and what happens when you squeeze an electric mouse? You get fucking electrocuted, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
So, he's moved about the friendship he'd never see. He rhymes for a bit, he says he's alive, and I think it's fair to say this is the first annoying character we've come across with properly. Outside of Ash, maybe.
Samurai was kind of annoying, but I do think the scientist picks, like...
He is the worst.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's definitely worse than Samurai, but I think you're like looking at Samurai and rose-tinted glasses there.
I wouldn't even call it that. It's just like,
comparatively
speaking. Yeah. Like,
his glasses are so covered in bugs, it's a bug-covered glass.
You're looking at Samurai through the beetle net right here.
Yeah, that's what it is. Net in place of glasses, yeah. But no, just this guy is just a complete pain in the hole. Ash asks why he was being attacked. He calls him Mister by accident, which is obviously a foolish thing to do, because then he gets to keep talking. His name is Seymour the scientist, and he says the words knowledge and research, because that's what scientists do apparently. Nothing else. That's outside. They're just knowledge and research. Nothing else. They don't do anything above that. Seymour explains then that someone's put lights on in the cave around and it's making the Pokemon confused. So we see Paris planting down mushrooms in kind of like a weird like stone daze. Sandshrews are basically drying up, so they're just sprawled on the floor going, which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
He's apparently on patrol to protect the mountain from troublemakers.
He's not doing a good job then, Ben.
No, not abundantly clear.
But like the common Zubat is enough to put him off. How is he even able to get inside the mountain?
Yeah. Like it comes across fairly quickly. This guy is a complete like nut job, right? But not only a nut job, but he's also a complete like wuss in every sense of the word. Like, you know, scared by Zubats, which are like one of the easiest Pokemon to battle against, really. Doesn't have any Pokemon himself, which is a bit like, you know, risky in a Pokemon universe, you know. And just like whenever like a child even saves his life, he's now indebted to him forever. It's not a good sign. I'm just saying.
And rhymes all the time, which is super.
That's very problematic. Like, I don't trust anyone who rhymes.
Not any of the time.
Not any of the time at all. No. I'll throw this at her.
Oh, damn it!
Okay, so so Seymour thinks it's over the Moonstone, right? This is what he thinks the prize is. It's almost like the one thing we've been hearing about all this time. So, an awesome boulder, 1,000 years old. No one has ever found it, and it's said to multiply a Pokemon's power. Hence, why he thinks they're here to take it, right? Obviously, it's an evolutionary stone in the game, so I suppose this is like a plot equivalent, if you like. It multiplies power. Now, this is where it gets weird, because the Moonstone, fair enough, okay, it's an old artifact. People might want to like take a chip off it and make money out of it. Seymour, on the other hand, has a theory, and obviously this comes from all the knowledge and research he's not done. He thinks that Pokemon all came from outer space.
So he's actually a crackpot.
He's a complete nut job, is what I would say. He's like one of those weird people who's into homeopathy, or like, you know, believes that 5G is a conspiracy. Oh, he's totally one of them. Like, not only that, but his second prong approach to this theory is that the meteorite is actually the spaceship that they came in on.
I mean, if you go down the rabbit hole, you're down the rabbit hole for good.
It seems that way, actually. Yeah. Okay, I think he's
no half measures.
No, there isn't. He's probably one of the guys that makes like conspiracy videos on YouTube about why the Earth is actually like flat, and not only flat, but it's also surrounded by alligators in space or some other crap like that. So yeah, he is a complete nut job. Like, even like somebody just should have called bullshit on it. Like on it, like Brock could have just thrown at Onyx and said, "Yeah, see this 8-foot snake? How is that getting on a fucking spaceship?" Right? And then checkmate.
Again, I do have a theory.
You've been promising this theory.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through it now, or do you want to wait until later?
No, she's got a targeted point for this theory for maximum damage.
Yeah.
You know, she's a good Pokemon trainer, is what we're trying to say. She's picking her battles. Yeah, exactly. Like, he just blurted the theory before the intro.
Yeah.
So Seymour literally begs Ash to agree with him about this theory, because again, like, obviously this is like ironclad. She's doing it again. Can you get her to stop?
No.
Okay. So Clefairy hops into view holding a very shiny stone. Brock identifies it as it skips along. Ash tries to catch it, but Seymour stops him. He says it's better if you let it stay here, which is a really, like, Ash could have just swapped him off and said, "Fuck off, let me catch the fucking thing."
Yeah.
Which kind of shows
I've
you
done the exact same thing with Samurai the other episode.
Yeah, precisely.
So
it's ridiculous, really. It just shows you that Ash is nowhere near as ruthless enough as he should be for a Pokemon trainer. So we get another shriek, this time from Clefairy, which brings the team to where it is, as it's being scared by Meowth on a plinth. Again, you'll be shocked to hear that Meowths don't live in Mt.Moon.
Yeah.
So it's obviously the one from Team Rocket.
Yeah.
So Pikachu and Clefairy seem to be talking to a bit, and then some sort of reassurance happens, so that's good, at least. Gets Clefairy off the cliff it was on. Team Rocket appears as Pokemon says, "Oh, here comes trouble," and they're carrying a shovel and pickaxe, and they do it to recreate the West Ham United logo, which is nice. So Seymour calls them show-offs, which is, I suppose, he's one to fucking talk, isn't he? Rocket says that they're jealous. Brock tells them that they're off for putting the lights up. So clearly they're the only people in the cave, so it's clearly their fault.
Yeah.
There's no one else that could have put the lights up.
Also, they would be stupid enough to ignore all of the other Pokemon that are fleeing the lit up cave.
Yes.
Just focus on something that's unobtainable.
It's a good point actually, because I presume like maybe that was a strategy with to get Pikachu. If you put lights up, it's a source of electricity. Then Pikachu might have to get his fix, and then we can just get him maybe.
Why didn't Seymour take down the lights whenever he found them?
I don't know.
This is the main thing. It's like he's a scientist.
He's a scientist. He may not be an electric engineer.
Is he apathetic towards like, well, this is wrong, but I could do research.
Well, I just had to look at my notes again, James, but I believe he said his two things are knowledge and research. It's not action. He just learns about it and learns more about it, and then that's it. He's a pacifist as well, you know.
Yeah.
Which as we all know is just that's just what else are you gonna do? Like it's so
fun.
He's an idiot. Anyway, so we get into a battle then. It seems, because Rocket confirms yes. They're here for the Moonstone. Rocket gets offended by Brock telling him to get lost, and they get ready for battle. So we get a double battle this time, lads. It's Ekans and Coughing on Team Rocket's side, and Butterfree and Zubat from Ash and Brock. Brock actually caught a Zubat on the way in, and no one noticed.
Which shows you how terrible a trader Ash is, that he actually did the shocking. And Brock, the Pokemon breeder, went up and like, you shocked me, Zubat. Fuck, now it's mine.
Ball in.
Again, Brock being a bit of a dick, and like, here, this might be a good idea. Just free Zubats going here.
Free Zubats. Anyone want free Zubats?
Delicious. No negative repercussions.
That's why Ash didn't catch one. It's like, no, I'm not getting that fucking shit again. Are you joking? I didn't get vaccinated.
That explains so much.
Yeah, it does. Delia is one of those ones. She's a fucking Karen. I always knew she was. I just didn't want to say it. So yes, we got our battle then. It starts
to keep Professor Oak so close in case Ash takes a turn.
Oh, that's even more insidious. Yeah, she's a real bitch, isn't she? Okay, so Coughing kicks off with a Smog. Butterfree World wins the way, because that's how it works. And Zubat uses Double Team, which according to this is copying Whirlwind. Fortunately, lads, that's mirror move you're thinking of, but hard luck. Better luck next time. Misty then Scarpers with Pikachu and Clefairy, whereas Ekans bites Butterfree while Coughing tackles Zubat. So this is all happening, and Meowth sneaks during the battle, kind of like real, like as sneaky as a talking cat can be, I suppose. Yeah. But Zubat seems to get the upper hand as he uses Supersonic and confuses both Pokemon, and are attacking each other. Butterfree uses Whirlwind again and blows them away. So it seems fairly straightforward. So I suppose our take on it is Team Rocket has Ekans. Same set as before. Bite and Dig will be around level 17. Again, Coughing is the kind of the massive hitter here. Like, because it knows Sludge, it's like fairly well leveled. So Smoke Screen, Tackle, we think it's around like mid 30s. And then we have Ash and Brock. So Butterfree is being thrown out here, and it's going to be quite high leveled because of having Whirlwind. Yeah. So Whirlwind, Sleep Powder, Tackle, and Harden is, I guess, its moves. We haven't seen anything else from it.
When did it get that massive level jump?
But that's the thing. Maybe it was from like the battle with Pinsir or something like that, or
Jesus,
or Beedrill maybe, or perhaps like Ash has just been spamming it all through it, like
rare
that.
Candies.
Yeah, rare candies, or that route before Mt.Moon.
Yeah,
that's when would have used it. Brock's Zubat is fresh out the oven, so it's about level 10, and only knows Supersonic and Double Team, so it actually couldn't do damage if it tried. So not a good sign. This is like Butterfree. I suppose you could kind of get around Ekans fairly quickly.
Nope. Because well, first off, Coughing would be the first one to move. It has Sludge. In Gen 1, Bug is weak to poison.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah, yes. Because they flipped that around after Gen 1.
They did, yeah.
So basically, it's 2 poisons against something that's weak to poison and something that's poison itself.
Yes.
So Butterfree is knocked right out.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. Especially if we do believe that Coughing is like a lot higher level than it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, I suppose on paper, fucking Rocket would kick ass here, yeah.
Absolutely. Also, Zubat might be weakened from the Pikachu shock.
Yeah, that's true too, yeah. I don't think there would have been a chance to heal up in between. Well, we assume that anyway.
Well, wait, Brock is actually competent, so...
Oh, maybe he did actually have like a potion.
A super potion nearby.
Yeah. Maybe some Poke Food to, help matters maybe.
A jelly-filled donut, perhaps.
Perhaps jelly-filled donut. I don't think he discovered them yet, so
okay.
maybe in a few episodes' time, I think. So, yeah, we would have reckoned Team Rocket would win that.
Yeah.
Quite handsomely. Especially considering, obviously, Pidgeotto would have been there, not used, and Pikachu was Scarpering again. Pikachu's a lazy fuck, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't done anything. There was 2 episodes where he did fuck all.
he is smarter than Ash, though, so he is just...
He's being tactical.
He's being tactical in his moves.
Sneaky bastard. So, yes, they obviously during this battle, they forgot about Meowth. Clefairy skips out of the cave with Misty following. And that's the first half of the show.
There we
It's a
go.
really fucking quick first half.
Yeah.
Because most of it was on your man fucking chatting away about himself. So,
Fun.
as is tradition with our ad breaks, because we don't have any sponsors.
Who's that Pokemon?
Who's that Pokemon?
That will never get old. So it's a lot closer than it was last time because
Fuck's sake. Yeah, I had to change up my my scheme because I don't want to make it too easy on you fuckheads.
Yes. So Burpot's leading the table at the minute with 9. James, you're on 7 and I'm on 5.
Yeah.
So at some hopefully one of us will overtake Burpot or at least level up.
Well, you would need to get it first time
Yes.
in order to pass her out. So I need to get it wrong, and
A couple of times, yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
If I get 3 in this, I pull ahead.
You do, yes.
So we can afford 4 misses, and I still.
Well, you can afford a miss. I can't.
Yeah.
My eyes are on the prize here,
Yeah.
James. I'm sure you understand.
So who goes first? Who gets first?
I suppose it's first the post.
Okay, yeah, first past both.
Yeah, so again, we will start off with our Dex entry and go from there. So
Okay, so when attacked, it launches its horns in quick volleys.
Okay.
horns, you say?
To shreds.
You know, Reno.
It's gonna go for that actually. No, it doesn't have horns. That's just the wall. Tauros.
Should probably finish reading the full index there, but its innards have never been seen.
Oh. What?
Oh, you snuck them on us here.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you-
being purposely tricksy here.
Yeah, I noticed that.
When I
So
say
you're
that's
down
a
to
V.
4 anyway.
We're down to 4. Okay.
No, I'd contest that. If
Well, I mean, you didn't give us the full Dex entry,
Yeah.
so that's
I-
cheating
I
a little
think
bit.
I-
Yeah, it's come on, that's
I
like.
don't think the second part is as useful as the first part, to be fair.
Yeah, but actually, that does that narrows it down a bit, because, you're saying we were kind of going with what we would have expected for just horns, and then you said, oh, with innards had never been seen. Well, that kind of changes matters a bit.
Okay.
So I'd say we're back to 5 points each.
I'd say we're back to 5, yeah. So full Dex entry again. No city buggers this time, right? No shithousery.
When attacked, it launches its horns in quick volleys. Its innards have never been seen.
I have an idea here.
It's first one to shout.
Cloister.
Ooh, that's a good one. Kangaskhan.
Ooh, okay.
Fucking cloister.
Ah, yes! Get in there! The innards gave it away.
I know.
I knew it. Because then what had me kind of tweaking it down a bit was the spike cannon move.
Yeah.
That's what kind of got me into it then.
So we deduct marks for her shithousery.
It was I could see what she was trying to do, but it was just I think we'll leave it as a warning for now.
Shithousery.
Now it's shithousery, but it's not against the rules, James.
You're
Unfortunately.
just annoyed you're losing.
Yes, you are actually losing now. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've gone from the leader to last in space of 3 episodes.
Yep.
But again, it could be your turn next time to catch up.
Absolutely.
So, yes. Moving on then to the second half of the show, we see Clefairy being chased up a steep climb by Misty and Seymour. They get to the top until it gets hit by a Meowth. Clefairy then falls, kind of very lightly down to the ravine. Actually, no, that's not true. It hits Misty on the head first, and then all of them fall into the ravine.
Yeah.
Because that's even funnier. So
Slapstick.
slapstick. Everyone's in the river now. It's top banter. So Meowth threatens Seymour in particular. So Meowth can spot the weak link here, right?
Oh yeah.
But Misty drops Staryu into the water, uses Swift and Water Gun. Meowth gets filled up with water. Real kind of Warner Brothers fucking
Yeah.
like floated up and like just shot away essentially. It was quite cathartic actually seeing it being like, you know, just like topped up constantly to like I was hoping it would burst is all I'm saying like yeah, would have been nice. So yes, Ash and Brock check on Misty and Seymour and they're all fine except for, you know, being stuck in the river. So we get this. So time passes. Sunset hits, and Brock is feeding Zubat some Poke food that he makes himself. Because not only is he a Pokemon breeder, but he's also a Pokemon chef. It's amazing the skills you pick up when you're looking after 10 kids, I suppose. Yeah, and they're all special blends for all different types of Pokemon. Developing it for years, apparently, but you know, this is one.
And he had a special batch for a Zubat on hand.
Yes. What we're saying is that Brock might be a stoner. That's what we're getting from this, like, you know, oh yeah, no, I've got a special blend.
He does like stones.
He does like stones, yeah. Was this your theory or?
No.
Okay, different theory. Okay.
So waiting for your moment to tell your theory.
Yeah.
Tactical mastery here. Apart from the shit housery in the segment there.
I'm gonna make a guess as to what our theory is.
Go. Well, this isn't for the Who's That Pokemon, by the way. This is for just fun.
Seymour is a Ditto. And he is trying to get back to his homeworld.
I've heard this rumor. Yeah.
Trying to get back to his homeworld by getting the Clefairy to get him onto a Moonstone to send him home. Just throwing it out there.
That's not my theory.
Okay.
I think you lads have been on YouTube conspiracies way too much. Like, you know, like 5G is not trying to kill us. Okay, I'm just saying.
You did see in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon that the Dittos were taking over.
I did, but that's beside the point. Didn't happen. All right. Okay, are we establishing this? There isn't a Ditto among us. It's not fucking Blade Runner we're playing here. All right. Okay. So, yes, everyone's getting fed Poke food. Seymour tries it and goes, "Oh, that's quite nice." And then,
see,
yeah, okay, maybe he's just fucking weird. All right. People have different taste buds, right? So Ash doesn't like it. Obviously, he like just vomits. And then we see like Pikachu and Clefairy having like kind of more banter and conversation.
Yeah.
Clefairy's still kind of holding his stone. Like I've no idea what the two of them could have been talking about. It's just like, oh hey, weren't you supposed to get your own game? Yeah, I was actually. Yeah, what happened? I was too girly. Oh, pity. No. Anyway, lads.
Hey, I'm the mascot, not you.
Yeah. Just there going like flicking the V's at it.
I thought it was Jigglypuff.
No, Clefairy. Yeah, Clefairy was meant to be the mascot.
Jigglypuff would have been a better shout than Clefairy. Because that's even cuter.
Again, I would disagree with that. It's more of annoyance than anything else. But yeah, no, Clefairy was meant to be the poster child for Pokemon.
I knew it was one of the pink fluffy ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was meant to be,
but
yeah.
I would have picked Jigglypuff. Because that's awesome.
And it sings.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Thankfully not in this episode.
Oh, just wait until the Diglett episode.
Oh, fuck me, yeah. We just have to put her in.
Oh, it's in my head already.
Ring, 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 phone call. Phone call.
Oh, yeah. But no, in fairness, like, back in the day, there was meant to be a... when Pokemon Yellow was released, there was meant to be a Pokemon Pink to go with it. And the idea was then that would be the first for a game for girls. Essentially, you could play like a girl, like Pokemon trainer, and the starter you get is Clefairy instead. But it never saw the light of day. It was abandoned.
Oh, come on, Pokemon Brown creators and Uranium creators. Come on, make that.
Funny you should mention that. 4chan is making a fan-made game of Pokemon Pink.
Well, we all know that's going to be some slutty Jigglypuff.
Like you said, it's for girls.
Yeah, it's for girls. There is actually already a ROM hack of Pokemon Pink. It's a ROM hack of Blue, and it is like it's just a female character from like one of the other games. I think it was Crystal, and she's just like put into the Pokemon Yellow ROM. I think it's Yellow ROM anyway. And you had a choice of, I think your starters are Pikachu, Clefairy, or Eevee. I think.
Oh, okay.
And you have a choice of those three. But yeah, like that was the whole idea. And I know they did plan it for a Pokemon Pink, but they just said no, let's just get on with Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
And then eventually with Crystal, then you could pick as a girl character in the end. So
Eventually
they got there in the end. Took them 2 years, but however. Just the world wasn't ready for a girl Pokemon trainer. Is the thing.
No, you need a pointy boobs.
Yeah, that was it. Like that, they couldn't. They were too young to push it. Like you know.
Yeah.
You know. But hey, listen, we live in different times now. You know, or do we? It's a question. So, Clefairy and Pikachu skip off then, and that makes the others follow them, going like, oh, what are these devilish Pokemon up to?
Yeah.
So, Ash questions where they're going, but they stop and see another mystery cave. There could have been maybe 2 Mt.Moons.
A cave in the cave.
A cave within the cave.
Cave
I love
section.
it. Yeah. Wham. They walk in and see a giant rock, and that's the core of the Moonstone, and it's sparkling like fuck. I love
That's
it.
pretty.
It is actually quite pretty, isn't it? I like this because in the original game, you don't see this area, right?
Yeah.
But in Gold and Silver,
You do.
you do. That's the kind of gas thing. Like if you get it on the right days of the week at certain times of night, and I think this. Am I right in saying this is the only way to get like consistent numbers of moonstones? Is this way?
Yes.
So you go into Mt.Moon, right? And like in the game, obviously because of like memory constraints, you only see half of Mt.Moon. They've actually like excavated it further so people can pass through without being hit by Zubats.
Yeah.
But if there's like a gift shop there, right, and go around the corner, there's like this kind of just boxed off area, and every now and then you'll just see Clefairy skip around the rock, and they'll see you, they'll jump away, and then if you smash the rock up, you get a moonstone, and that's how you get it in that game. They really made you
pretty
work.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they made you fucking work for those stones in that game. Honestly,
That, to be fair, I like the fact that you had to work for it.
yes. It was good. It was different, especially considering like you could just buy everything from Celadon, like completely different. So yeah, it was nice. So yeah, it feels like a dream. The legends are true, and Seymour is doing terrible things in his pants right now. Clefairy places its stone on the base, and the stone lights up, flashes. Clefairies appear everywhere and start dancing around the place. One stops to thank everybody, and yeah, it's a quite nice scene. Clefairy jumping around the place. The moon's in a shot. Seymour is observing, as opposed to you could say. He's formed their own society, and Pikachu then tries to explain what's going on. Another exciting edition of Pokemon charades. So Ash tries to get his first guess. They collect all the stones and do the Macarena. That is shockingly the wrong answer. They keep trying to work it out. Brock gets it in the end. The Clefairy are praying to the Moonstone. That's what they do, because they formed a religion apparently.
I mean, yeah.
It's possible, you know. I suppose there's worse things to worship than a stone, isn't there? So, yeah, Seymour is very excited about this, and he gets his eureka moment, as this obviously proves Pokemon are from space. They can ride the Moonstone to space and to the moon, in that order.
Or they just came across a giant glistening rock.
No. It was definitely that first thing I said. Like this is fundamental proof that aliens exist. I don't see what the problem. Even I can see it now. It's just so clear now. So, yes, Team Rocket appear again. Shockingly, Seymour steps in front of them, trying to be the valiant hero. Yeah. And Seymour just gets swatted away, basically. He's trying to threaten them, and yet he's like trembling, which is just not a good sign, really. He charges at them and gets tripped up by Meowth. His glasses are broke because he's fucking Velma all of a sudden.
Glasses, I can't see it at my glasses.
Oh, no way. Another battle breaks out. Doesn't last that long, though. It's Ekans and Coughing, Pikachu and Onyx. So I think Onyx it's got this sorted. Yeah. Ekans goes underground. Coughing uses smoke screen. Smoke fills the area as Pidgeotto comes out and clears away the smoke. Yeah. As they do, they notice the Moonstone has gone. Ekans has done the job and dug through and got the Moonstone. So the target was never Pikachu all along. It was the shiny rock. Yeah. Which is clever. I like it. Brock gets Onyx to follow them underground. Clefairy brings Seymour's glasses back because, you know, Clefairy is indebted to Seymour. And plus, I think it really likes the idea of having a human id. Yeah. Like someone that could like start manipulating, like what's happened to Burtbot right now. Like, see, she had a Clefairy when she was younger, right? And what happens now is whenever she mentions it, she now has to hymn Clefairy. Yeah. Because it's a form of mental illness. Anyway, Seymour's talking to the Clefairy, explaining the Moonstone is sacred to them and why they won't defend it. And Clefairy's going like, "You're right. We should defend our religious monuments." So Team Rocket are riding the Moonstone down, I guess the side of Mt.Moon is the best way of putting it.
You would say.
As a floaty rock boy, perhaps, yes. Or rolly rock boy, I suppose.
Rock boy.
Yeah, rolly rock boy, yeah. Golem is explodey rock boy, I think it was fair to say. So they're
a boomy boy.
A boomy boy, yeah. Okay, boomer. So they're rolling down Mt.Moon.
Everything's going grand. The master plan has worked. Oh shit, here comes a giant rock snake. It crashes into them and they collide and they crash and everything goes to plan. There's a stalemate between Coughing and Onyx. I love as well, like, for whatever way the animation was, like, this just the massive crashes happen. Jesse and James are like knocked loopy. Ekans is knocked loopy. The Moonstone is there, and Coughing just has a big happy face on it, going like,
Well, that's always
"That was fucking awesome!"
That's always the case of it. Like James is drowning.
Yes.
And he has big
Coughing's
smile.
like, look at that, that's funny. I'm gonna record this. Watch, where's my phone? There we go. And then Onyx and Coughing clash heads and both faint because nothing says a stalemate like that. So out of the hole that Onyx dug up was Seymour and the Clefairy. So like Seymour kind of like pops up and he's just kind of like at like chest height here, and the Clefairy all come out and start waggling their fingers. Little did he know it's a metronome, and everyone starts getting hypnotized, going, "This is fucking weird. What's happening?" And Seymour says it's the metronome and starts talking like this because he's under a spell of some kind.
He's been hypnotized.
Yeah, he's been hypnotized. No one knows what'll happen. They all glow and just something explodes. Just everything explodes.
Doesn't that normally happen with metronome? Like, I know not in the games, but as far as the TV show goes,
It's always self-destruct for some
always
reason.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like Togepi uses metronome a couple of times in the series.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cute.
It's very cute when that tiny egg explodes.
Yeah.
It's really funny. And it's always fine afterwards. Like, it's bizarre, really. Yeah, I don't know why that. I suppose it's like it's a very just easy way of like signing off an episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh no, they're in a predicament. What'll happen?
We need to get Team Rocket out of here. Togepi go boom.
Toki boom boom bye bye. It would be kind of funny if they did apply
Eggy
the
Boom Boy.
Eggy Boom Boy, yes. Eggy Boom Baby, surely. Not really a boy
Eggy
yet, is
Boom
it?
Baby Boy.
Baby, okay, fine. We'll fix it in post. But I always find it funny, like, if they did actually apply the metronome logic to it, it's like, oh shit, it might explode, and it's just a string shot, and just like some sort of weird silk just comes out
All
of
of
the
them would
cliff.
have used a different move.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh god, a water gun. Oh, spike camera. Oh, fuck, voice grip. Ah, stun spore. What the fuck's going on here? And then like one of them has like an actual move that does damage, and it's just pound. It's like, you could have done that anyway. Completely redundant. Or maybe
One of them splashes.
just like
Pardon.
yeah, dipshit the Clefairy just going Clefairy. It's like the important thing is that you're trying. So the Team Rocket get blasted off again in this fantastic like mega hyper beam. I don't know what the odds are of like 16 Clefable all getting hyper beam, but I can imagine that could destroy quite a lot of the area.
Yeah.
There is now no longer a Mt.Moon. There is now just a mount. And that obviously sends off Rocket away to their next adventure, which is where we step in. It's time for our segment, What Should Rocket Do? So
I do feel like they had a decent plan here.
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. That was the thing.
The thing was that they hadn't expected Brock to join the team.
That's the trouble.
That's the only thing they didn't plan for was that Brock had an Onyx.
Yes.
So
What I would have done was split up and have James and the Coughing keep suppressing the smoke screen for longer by Jesse getting away with the Moonstone more time.
Yeah.
And then it should all be grand. What are they going to do with James? He hasn't got the Moonstone, so
yeah.
he's just going to fuck off.
that's good show.
That's fair, yeah. What I would have done is using the kind of Clefairy to our advantage here, right? So they've obviously kind of fucked up things up in the cave, right?
Yeah.
So all the creatures are acting funny. I guess that's supposed to like drag the Clefairy out in a way, because they're like really impish creatures, like don't like to be seen. So once you get one Clefairy, right, you can obviously follow it then to where the Moonstone is, okay? And what I would do is I then catch that Clefairy, right? And again, applying the metronome logic that we would have in these shows, pretty simply, get the Clefairy to use metronome. It will do something massive damage at the Moonstone. Pick up all the shards, and you have tons of Moonstones that you can sell on for massive
You're
profits.
assuming the Clefairy changes loyalty in that case.
Well, that's true, but if you've caught it, like as we all know, like once you catch a Pokemon, it's yours. In Pokemon logic, if in that kind of sense, like once it's your trainer's Pokemon, you have to do what it says.
There's been so many cases in the show.
Well, Ash doesn't count.
Ash is not a trainer here. Okay, let's establish this. Competent trainers, professional trainers.
This is Jesse and James.
Okay, well, logic takes a hit there, but idea is that get a Clefairy, get it to use Metronome, blast Mt.Moon, pick up all the shards, and make fucking quids.
Okay.
Okay, my plan, if I was Team Rocket, would be similar to Jonathan's, as in kidnap Clefairy.
Okay.
That is holding the shiny rock, which we consume as part of the Moonstone.
Yeah.
Hold that at ransom, and get the others to give up the big Moonstone in order to save the Clefairy, because we know they would do that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's, that's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So, what do we say? What do we think?
I think everyone's just going to vote for their own idea in this one.
It's a bit of a pick 'em, like in a weird way. Like Rocket did have the right plan here, you know.
Yeah.
So you can kind of, it is kind of a moot point, really. It just like they just weren't planning for Onyx, I suppose.
Let's split up, gang. I'm gonna go with that one.
Yay.
Yeah, I think we go for a three-way draw. I think all of them were fairly valid.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, end of the episode then. It starts raining shards of Moonstone, and whenever it hits a Clefairy, it evolves into Clefable.
Yeah.
I wonder what a Clefable sounds like.
Clefable.
And yes, they all dance around the Moonstone. So we have... That's more like it. They all dance around the Moonstone, back to where it belongs. Seymour has decided to live with the Clefables, as he hopes to go into space with the Pokemon.
And enter my theory!
About fucking time. It's the end of the podcast. Well, no, that's it. We're done. Yeah, let's move on.
My theory... You kind of took the thunder out of it, James.
Oh.
Is that he is a Clefairy that has been changed into a human form.
He's transformed from Metronome.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
There we go. The reason he talks in rhyme is because, like, it's not a proper human, but he's learned to read.
Clefairy.
What reminds me of Fairy? Seymour. Perfect.
What do I want to do? Seymour Clefairy. There we go. No.
Knowledge research. Yeah, that's what Clefairies do.
He wants to be. He's transformed himself into a human.
Yeah.
Using Metronome and Transform.
Mm-hmm.
And he is now stuck in human form and is trying to get to Mt.Moon, the Moonstone.
Yeah.
Because he believes it will change him back into his rightful form.
Oh, that's interesting. And that's why he stays with them then, because he can then, like...
work out. He can use his research and knowledge
that he gathered as a human
to turn himself back into a Clefairy.
So if Ash and Missy just suddenly turned back and said, oh shit, I forgot my fucking bag. They walk in and there's suddenly a Clefable with like a white like fucking lab coat on and glasses. That would have really freaked them out, wouldn't it? And
so
then
the Zubats were just attacking the Pokemon at the start.
Yeah, it was just a natural order just kicking in.
He's a human, so he doesn't have his Pokemon powers
Yeah.
anymore. So he has no way of attacking them. He can't use Pound, he can't use Metronome back to transform himself.
That's very fascinating because the way Transform works is it's transforming into something it's seen. So it means that there has been a scientist called Seymour in there before, and now it's transformed into him. They basically body snatched a scientist called Seymour, potentially made him look like a complete dumbass because obviously pretending to be human is pretty difficult for a Pokemon.
Yeah, they've no coordination. They might not have the limbs to coordinate and things.
Yeah, exactly, and like trying to guess the personality as well. So obviously the Clefable is very impish.
Yeah.
So it'll come across very like weird and campy, I guess, giddy. I mean, shit, like this kind of blows it all wide open, doesn't it? Like,
and he likes the Pokemon food.
Yeah, that's another point in his favour as well.
Which is kind of where James came in with
the Ditto thing, yeah. I mean, they both work, like they're both valid.
And the space thing might be, he knows that that's what they're doing. They're praying to the stone because he prayed to the stone. And this was the religion that's been passed down to him.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
You know, it may not be accurate or
so do the other Clefairy know that he's...
They're all very accepting of him, the fact that they allow him to live with them.
And they're able to seem to like, they have some sort of like understanding, I guess. Maybe because he's such a good scientist he can talk to the Pokemon like fucking Dr. Dolittle. I don't think it's as easy as that, like. I mean, fuck, that works. That holds water. As does the Ditto thing, in fairness. Like, they both work. So, yeah, there we go. We see more.
It's canon.
Yeah, it's canon. We've locking it in, lads. We've done it. That's it. We solved the mystery of Seymour the scientist. Because clearly he was just too much of a generic name to be correct, to be a right person. So, yes, the team anyway leaves Seymour, human or not, with the Clefable to live out the rest of his life. I hope. They arrive at a fork in the road with a sign saying Cerulean City, and it says something scribbled on it. Gary was here, Ash is a loser. Which is harsh but fair.
Yeah.
Ash gets annoyed and charges towards the city, and he runs off to the distance to end the episode.
If I was Gary, I would not be even thinking about Ash at that stage.
Yeah, surely it's the other two you have to
Like,
worry about.
he's dead in a forest. That weird samurai kid took care of him.
Ash, didn't he drown in a waterfall trying to get away from Spiro?
It took him like 3 days to make it to the next town, and he hadn't even caught anything at that stage. I won the bet with my granddad.
Didn't he get blown up in Viridian City when that gym went off fire? Details.
He's a loser.
He is shit, and he knows he is. So, to end our episode, we have 3 entries into our Pokedex. First one is obviously our most complicated, most interesting Pokemon we've had so far, which
Seymour.
is Zubat. And you'd be shocked to hear that it's meant to be a bat.
Yeah.
There is nothing else I can say about it, really. It is a pretty much as dull can be.
I think it's my least favourite Pokemon.
Same. It was a toss-up between me and Dad and Tentacool.
See, it's way more tentacle for me, because Zubat is annoying in that cave.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's in another cave after that. I think it's Golbat is in,
Golbat, yeah.
or if it is in another cave, it's a lot more diverse.
Yes.
Whereas every body of water has tentacles in it.
That's the thing, yeah. Like, Tentacool is, like, literally everywhere. Like, that's and the fact is, like, especially in, like, Generation 1, where you had such a big body of water to go through. Like, you're literally just hitting Tentacool every 5 steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like, Zubat's up there. Like,
Oh,
Zubat got the mean quality to it.
Oh yeah.
But I think Zubat was then, like,
Supersonic.
Supersonic, Double Team, fucking all that shit, like Confused Ray as well. You know, I think as well, like, Zubat was more of a nuisance in Gen 2, where, like, everything was generally lower leveled. So, like, there was like 4 or 5 caves in that game as well, and they were all Zubats practically, because there was very little new Pokemon out there.
See, just why Tentacool doesn't annoy me as much is in the cards I had a shiny pair of Tentacool and Tentacruel.
Ooh, very nice.
So I always had a soft spot.
You had a soft spot for it, yeah.
Whereas Zubat's, no shiny cards to them, so.
Burpo likes jellyfish, pass it on. So, let's move on then to the 2 interesting Pokemon from this episode, and that's Clefairy.
Sandshrew?
Clefairy.
Sandshrew.
Well, we didn't.
And Paris.
Yeah, I suppose he did. I suppose he did get introduced. I was kind of going by like what like had actually interacted with. You know, I know they were kind of shown on screen, but we've had like Pokemon shown on screen before as well. I guess you could make the argument, but we'll see. We will have Paris and Sandshrew up again officially, but like Ash didn't like literally go up and go, "This is this thing." Write it down, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I do see your point. Anyway, what the first one I have on my list is Clefairy. Obviously based off a fairy.
Yep.
It was normal type back in the day.
Yep.
Now it's found its rightful home of being the fairy type.
Yep.
Which actually probably makes it like useful again, doesn't it? Like.
Oh yeah.
So
if you do the, you haven't played the Let's Go game, but getting fairy types early in the game make like the battle against Lance at the end.
Yeah.
Far easier.
Oh, I'd say so. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that actually makes like Lance beatable as well, because at least like in that time, like the only way to really beat him was to have an ice type move, let alone a Pokemon. Otherwise, like you're just battling, just like whittling
sheer numbers.
Sheer numbers, exactly. Especially with like fucking Barrier Dragonite as well.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
But having fairy types, especially in like Let's Go, has you take out early games with a good special attacker.
Yes, exactly. Especially when you do get something like Moonblast, which is such a great move, like, and on something like Clefairy, which like the stats are average, but it bumps it up a good bit by having access to it. You know,
good early game.
Exactly, yeah. Fun fact, by the way, the initial name for Clefairy was Aria.
Oh,
yeah. So that was supposed to be what it was called. In fact, in some dubs, it's still being called Aria. as its Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah. And as you mentioned earlier, Clefairy was meant to be Ash's starting Pokemon. There was a last minute change though between them and Pikachu. So this would have made the actual anime show closer to the manga. The manga had like Red instead of Ash, and Red had a Pikachu instead.
Yeah.
Never would have had Clefairy. In fact, I think it was another character that had Clefairy as her starter, if you like.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm wrong. I think no, she did have a Clefairy. I'm right. I can't remember now. It's been a
The
while
Ash-
since I had the
the
manga.
Ash had a Poliwhirl was his starter.
Yes, Red would have had Poliwhirl as a starter, yeah. And then would have got Bulbasaur off Oak, and then Pikachu as his little like, oh, here, you're my friend as well.
Yeah.
And then they all went on magical adventures together.
Yeah.
Manga's actually pretty good, in fairness. I'd recommend it if you're a massive nerd like me. But yeah, like that was the whole story. Can you imagine, I don't know what kind of world we'd be living in if like Clefairy was the mascot instead of Ash. Would it have taken off like if we did, or is Pikachu like clearly more marketable? It's hard to say, isn't it?
I'd say they could have done the marketing magic with Clefairy in the same way they've done it with Eevee. So
That's
you look
true.
at
Yeah.
they've really made Eevee into the second
Starter,
mascot,
yeah.
second mascot near.
Yeah.
And they have like different little forms of Eevee that have like in Let's Go Eevee there's you can get Eevee with hats and
Yeah.
they would have marketed Clefairy just as well as that, I'd say.
Yeah, it's different. That's what I'm kind of not sure. Like, would have been like obviously Pikachu is such an iconic character.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Clefairy would have had the same pull in that regard. Like, you know, in fairness, like,
It's very pink.
it's very pink. That's the thing. Like,
that would have been pushed as a market to me, I suppose. Like,
to girls,
like,
yeah.
oh, here's a game that'll keep you quiet for a while and stop you kicking the ball against the wall constantly. But would the likes of you have been attracted to a game that had a pink mascot?
this is it. Like, especially for boys that age, anything pink you just wouldn't touch.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, but at least something yellow. It was kind of like, I guess, a bit more universal.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't like a blue thing. It wasn't like it didn't look that.
We had the
male
games
thing.
before the cartoon came out though.
Yes.
So it might have come out around the same time, but I was hooked on I was hooked in the game before the show came around.
Yeah, I was the same
So
way. Yeah.
Pikachu being the mascot didn't really come into it.
But you know yourself, like there was people that would have played the game initially and said, "Oh, that's good," but having the TV show just expanded that audience. You know,
absolutely.
so in a way, like you would have, like the game still would have existed. It just wouldn't be the same massive like mogul that it is now. You know, it's kind of a nice thought experiment. Fun fact, by the way, the French name for Clefairy is Pee-Pee.
Yeah.
What?
And it's a P-I-P-P-I, and it's supposed to be like a repetition of the phrase of the word pixie.
Huh.
So it's like instead of being fairy, it's pixie in French.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Speaking of, then we have our evolved form of Clefairy.
Yeah.
Indeed, Clefable. So again, there's not much to say about it really. It was just one of those Pokemon that existed.
Yeah.
It's good, like in a way. It like really good special defense, as I recall. And I suppose like back then it was very like Wigglytuff and them. They had got a lot of access to like cool moves, but because they weren't the strongest Pokemon, like it was kind of like a last resort. Like, okay, I can't really use anything else. Okay, I'll just let them use Thunderbolt or Ice Beam or Psychic or something like that. So that's what kind of made them interesting in that way. But then you realise, oh wait, I'll just get a Psychic type instead, and it's so much better.
I was really close to using Clefable on the Sun and Moon team against
You were saying this, yeah. I was kind of interested by that, like.
I just thought it would have been a curveball.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed it now.
Yeah.
Not at that point in the series when there is so much more cooler shit out there than Clefable.
It's bulky and it can throw a decent punch back.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with something like Moonblast, as I said. Yeah. Again, the Clefable had a prototype name, as it was mentioned there. So instead of Aria, would have evolved into Ariala.
Oh.
And again, same thing. Some dubs of the anime call it still Ariala after that. So, again, it's another those weird thing because like if Clefable was the initial like idea of the mascot, would Clefable have had more to it? In the same, I think like it would have gone the same way with like Pikachu and Raichu. Like it would have stayed as Clefairy, and Clefable was just like, oh, this exists as well. It wouldn't have got as much like attention.
Yeah.
It would probably the same as
right.
it is.
Throw Raichu under the they try to hide it as much as possible.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like,
They wanted to zone it, I'd say. If they could redo the series, it would be...
It would explain why each kind of like Pika clone is like a single evolution.
Yeah.
Like Plusselmine and Pachirisu, Emolga, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You don't get evolved versions of them. Like they're just like, there's a thing, here's cute, sell plush dolls of it and get out of my sight. Pretty much.
The one time to give Raichu love was the Pancake Raichu.
Yes, that was it.
Pancake Raichu?
The
Surfboard.
yeah. Well,
Surfboard.
he's standing on a pancake.
It's a surfboard.
To be
And
fair,
it's
having
cool.
and the fact is like its ability is Surge Surfer. It's just like that's they have tried, but still it's a bit yeah. Electric Psychic, like what are you playing at? Like catch yourself on, will you? So anyway, that count then leaves us to 22 seen and 5 caught.
Yeah.
Which is not bad going so far after 6 episodes. So that's it then. That's it for this episode. Again, it wasn't a bad one in the end. It was just Seymour was a pain in
Not
the
a bad
arse.
one, but probably more forgettable than the last couple.
Yeah, definitely.
Except for when you're a kid and you're like, is that guy a Pokemon?
I was not asking.
I've cracked the case.
I wasn't asking like those questions myself as an adult, let alone as a child.
Well, it's an insight into my brain.
Yes, a horrifying insight I don't want to see again. So, thank you for listening to this episode. To play us out will be the metronome that we've been hearing all throughout the episode. Thank you for listening to the Jellyfield Donut podcast from myself, Jonathan, from James and Clefairy, and we'll see you again next week. Next time is the Clefairy. Clefairy.